All right, our next guests on the podcast are Maryland men's soccer Alex Nitzl and Colin Griffith, and I'm going to start with your guys' most recent game, Friday night at Indiana. It started Friday night, it didn't end on Friday, and ended on Saturday. Weather delay. You guys held on to the 1-0 victory. I just kind of want to ask, have you guys ever been a part of a game like that where you start it, you don't finish it, you're going to go to bed and then finish it the next day? Have you ever been a part of something like that?
Me, personally, no. I've been through weather delays and stuff like that, in playing, and either they'll just cancel the game outright and like you'll play it again at a later date, or you'll end up waiting it out and just finishing the game that same night. I've never personally been part of a game where we stopped at the 69, like 16 seconds or whatever there was to go, and had to wait until the next morning to play that final 20. So that was all new for me and interesting.
Yeah, same for me. I like similar experience. Like I had weather delays and all this and that, but I never like waited a whole day to come back. Only played 20 minutes. Like that was something I've never experienced before, and was definitely quite the experience, I want to say.
What was Sasha kind of telling you guys? Obviously, if the game had gone, whatever, 25 more seconds, you would have been done for the night and would have got the win. So what was kind of the, mood in the locker room after that, and kind of how do you stay ready to go when you're going to play an early game next morning and you already played last night?
Was kind of weird because we didn't really know what's gonna happen. So like we were initially pretty pissed because we felt like we should have played another 16 seconds and I would just call it quits. But I don't know, like that's out of our control. And I think although Sasha's a very emotional guy, I think his message was pretty nice that way because he didn't like steer our anger. I was like, oh, they're screwing us over or anything. It was just like, all right, let's see what's gonna happen. Like this is something we can't control. Let's see what decisions will be made. And like he was pushing hard for like whatever we wanted. Like he was pushing hard for like getting the game done or at least playing the next day because there were like multiple times or time frames that were an option. But yeah, it was in the locker room was just weird because we were waiting, but we didn't know we were. It was like we were running against time, out of time, and like it was just weird. But like we it was a quick turnaround. Like we got back to the hotel, we went to bed, and next thing you know, at 6 a.m. you wake up and you're getting ready for the game. So there wasn't much time to think. There wasn't much time to prepare anything, and yeah, I feel like that's how it kind of went.
Yeah, I'd say it was a very weird feeling in the locker room because, like Nitzl said, no one really knew what was going on or what was going to happen if we're going to continue playing that night. So we were all kind of staying ready and all kind of also like wondering ourselves what's going to happen. Personally, I was happy that we got to play the last 20 the next day because it like felt like a full win and a very deserved one rather than of just calling it quits and ending at the 70 minutes while we're already up 1-0.
It's such a weird season last year. Obviously struggled in Big Ten play, and to kind of now start with 2 ranked wins. Tell me what went wrong in last season's kind of, one of the worst seasons that the program's had in a while. No offense, but you guys have started off well. What's been the biggest change, would you say?
I would like to pass it off to Colin first.
Oh, really? Um, Really, I don't know if there's really been that much big of a change. Soccer is a game of small mistakes and small moments, and those moments can change results. And I feel like out of the time last year, we were on the wrong end of those little small moments, and we'd end up going down, and we just weren't resilient enough to really keep our heads down and keep working. And this year, we've been able to be fortunate and get up and not concede as many goals and be able to get on the front foot and score first. So that's what I'd say.
Yeah, I agree. I also think that soccer is like a game where momentum matters a lot. And last year, the momentum was going very strongly against us. So if like a small thing went wrong, like you just know it would accumulate and more things would go wrong. And then you kind of end up in like a place where you're going out there, you're ready to win, you want to win, but like small things happen and like it just gets in your own head. And I think we got in our head a lot last year, and like I think that's right now what we're trying to build, that we're like in that positive momentum. We're like, all right, there's a small inconvenience happening, doesn't matter though, we keep going, we will get there, we will get the win. We have, and I think that goes a long way. And I also think like the biggest difference from last year to this year is that we have a bunch of more older guys, and I think that helps playing through adversity, how our coach likes to call it. Like, yeah, I think having more maturity and experience on the field definitely helps us in moments where we're struggling on the field too, where you have to suffer on the field and just pull it through.
For you, Alex, kind of what went into your decision to come back for a fifth year here in College Park? Basically been a starter since you've been on campus. You've started in 56 of 59 games. You're the captain. What went into that decision to come back for a fifth year?
I always knew that I wanted to go to grad school, which is why I did my bachelor's degree in 3 years. So I had another year to play and go to grad school. And I was exploring other options because I'm still international after all. And like, while I feel very well at the right place, I want to say in Maryland, I also wanted to see what other options are out there. But after talking to some schools and just looking out, I just felt like Maryland's the place to be. I love the school. I love the people here. I love the education. I love the soccer program. And especially after a year like last year, I just felt like this can't be it for me. Like, I can't leave a place that gave me so much with results like that. I just felt like there's some unfinished business I got to take care of. So I decided to come back, and hopefully this year we can add a couple of rings to my trophy cabinet.
Alex, for people who don't know your story, you're obviously from Munich in Germany. So when you came over here, I assume you knew nobody, and your first language is probably German. What was the craziest or like weirdest interaction or impression you had of America when you got here? Like, take me through those kind of first months. Is there any stories that stick out where you're just like, what the hell's going on?
Oh, there are a lot of those, man. I don't know. The first thing that comes to mind for me where I completely lost it is when like I got here, I was in quarantine, and then I got out, and like the boys were like, "All right, let's go grab dinner." And I'm like, "Okay, cool, nice." Like, I'm finally meeting some people. I'm new here. I'm still like trying to adjust, and like my language was okay. My English, I want to say, was okay, but not comparably as well as it is now. But we went to a restaurant and we're sitting there, blah blah blah, and then we end up paying. And I've never seen it in Germany, and it was the weirdest thing for me ever. I go there, they come like, all right, here's your check, and then you give them your credit card, and then like the waiter just like walks away. Like, what is going on? You're like, where is he going with my credit card? What am I doing? I was like about to jump up and like, yo, like, can I come with you? Or like, what's going on here? And then like I was like, what is wrong with you? Like, I don't know. Like, for nowadays, it's so normal for me that you give your waiter your card, they take it, come back, bring it back. But for me, that was like the weirdest thing, because I literally just got out of quarantine in the morning and I was like, why is he taking my credit card? Where is he taking it? What is happening there? This doesn't make any sense. I want to see what I'm paying. Like, he can do whatever he wants with my credit card now. This is so weird. But there are a lot of those things. I don't know. I also was very confused with one of my first sessions. I wasn't allowed to train yet because my medicals weren't cleared yet. But we went to the bubble. I've never seen something like that in Germany before. We went to, I don't know, the bubble is like a indoor facility next to the golf course, and it's like a very small field where you like it. I don't even know. I don't think it's there meant to be there for soccer, but it was very shitty weather, so we ended up going there. But stuff like that was just funny to me. It was just different. But yeah, it was overall a good time. I feel like learning about new cultures and like in new languages are always a good time, and especially in the first time, like the first couple of months, I want to say I understood maybe like 70% of what was going on, like even language wise. So just sitting there vibing, enjoying whatever's going on around me.
Colin, for you, I mean, you got a teammate from Germany, and as you kind of got acclimated with the Maryland roster, you guys have brought in another foreign player this year. What is that like for you as a teammate? Kind of having that, getting that perspective. Like, how do you go about building a relationship like that?
I'd say all the Germans are really nice. I mean, there has been a lot more German speaking in the locker room, which is something to get used to because we have so many now. But I actually live with one of the newcomers from Germany, and so I get to bond with him just through watching TV and stuff like that. And no matter what they say, they're very Americanized now, I'll tell you that. So it is very easy to have fun with them and do some of the things that we like to do over here, and they enjoy it too. So we get to bond over things like watching football. Nitzl's actually telling me about how he enjoys eating his pizza with ranch now, which is a very American thing to do. So,
And do you speak any German, Colin? Let's hear it.
No, I cannot. I cannot speak
Seriously?
in no.
Wow. Alex, you got to get on that, my man.
Yeah, he's a bad student. I don't know what to tell you. It's rough. It's rough.
Colin, I wanted to ask about your relationship with Billy Edwards because I know you guys are pretty close friends. I'd say both wear the number nines. Um, you also said you could stop Billy on a 4th and 1. Are you gonna stick by your word on the podcast?
Yeah, I'll stick by my word until I die. So I'm gonna ride and die with that I could stop him. I know he's playing well right now. Game's in the lights, but I know where he comes from. I know what he does, and I know how to get him down.
Where's your guys' relationship come from?
So we first met. What I guess it would have been my sophomore year. I don't know what it is for him. My sophomore year, we had a Stat 100 together. And then through that, we just got like tutoring and whatnot together. And so we were around each other a lot, talking to each other a lot. And then that just turned into like out of the classroom friendship where we played a lot of Xbox together, specifically Rocket League. So we would do that. And then from that, we just started hanging out. And then over the summer, we both had to come here early for work different kind of workouts. And I actually lived on his couch because I didn't have an apartment. So we were around each other so much, hung out with each other, did a lot of things together.
What's the thing about Billy Edwards that fans don't know that you think is a good little anecdote?
I feel like he comes off super serious and always laser focused whenever he's talking to the media or in games, which he is. But he's also like the nicest and like biggest goofball, and, like fucking fun guy that like you're ever gonna meet. Even though he can when he needs to be serious, he can turn it on and just do what he needs to do.
We were talking about it earlier, but Colin, I want to go back to your first game at Maryland. You come in and you score a goal and you make an impact right away. Kind of take me through that moment and what's it like? And has that been something you kind of always looked back at and kind of remembered as a great start at Maryland?
Yeah, it's like it's stuff you think about, right? You're going into your first game, you're forward, you want to score, you want to get off the ground running. So you go in and you kind of just waiting for that opportunity and just hoping that it comes. And I remember Josh is the one that I think Nitzl got a hockey assist too on this one. Nitzl played it to Josh, and then I'm just floating in the box, and I see Josh go for the cross. So I'm just trying to find some space in between the center backs, and he plays a perfect ball in, and I'm just there to finish it off. And it felt amazing to score that first goal on my debut.
But I do have a question for both of you now. Sasha's obviously been around for a while, not to call him old, but he's been in the game for a bit. What's the best story you guys have with Sasha that you think kind of, because he's obviously somebody Maryland fans know about, but I feel like you guys can offer a good insight into kind of who he is as a coach and a person. What are some good stories you have with Sasha?
I have a good one I can tell, which I think speaks a lot to who he is as a person. So like obviously like I'm the captain, I have a great relationship with him. We've been through a lot together, but I think everyone knows how intense Sash is when it comes to soccer. He is a very demanding coach who is very emotionally engaged in the game, and he it goes both ways. He can be the happiest man alive, but he can also get very very upset and all this and that. But I think what is pretty unique about him and something I very rarely experienced before with coaches is that he cares about his players to a level that is just next level. So like for example, when I approached him and told him, look, like I'm going in my last season, I'm gonna graduate, but I'm like considering going to a different school. And like obviously for him, like as a coach, that's not the best thing you want to hear. Like your captain can come back. I've played a good amount of minutes for him, so I would think he would want me to come back. And he told me that right away. He's like, look, like if there's anything we can do to make you stay, whatever it is, we're gonna do it. But I respect you. I know where you're coming from. I know what you want to do. And if there's anything in the process you need help with, like please let me know. He gave me a specific school I couldn't go to because that would hurt him in his pride. But otherwise, he would help me. He would call coaches for me. He would reach out to different schools and be like, look, like my captain, like this is what he's gonna give you, and like was praising me to other schools, basically trying to help me find a place because he knew that that's what I wanted to do at that point. He still did everything on his end to make sure that if I decide to come back, that everything I want, I have here and more. but he also was like, well, I value Alex as a human being, and if he wants to go somewhere else, I'm gonna be there in full support and help him as much as I can. And I think that's a testimony to him as a person, because it takes a lot to step over your own pride and be like, look, I want the best for this kid, and not what's best for him in that situation maybe. So I think that that's pretty special, and I think that's just one. There are a lot of other stories that speak to him as a person, how much he cares and how he goes above and beyond for all of his players, and that's pretty cool to have a coach like that. Yeah.
Did he come to Germany to recruit you at all?
For me, not, because it was peak COVID, so there were very strict travel guidelines. But for other players, yeah, the coaching staff travels abroad to watch them play, to recruit them, to meet the families and everything. Yeah.
And what about you? What's a Sasha?
Like Nitz said, Sash can be an intense guy, and he's very passionate about every single thing he does. So I'll go with like more of a funny story that I have, and Nitzl has this too. So we're towards the end of training, and Sash and the coaching staff are standing on the halfway line, and we're practicing building out, and it gets to a point where we have our goalie Laureen, who can hit it like a really nice side volley, right? He can punt this thing wherever he wants. And out of nowhere, Sash calls for a ball from Lauren to be punted to him. And so Lau punts this ball 50 yards in the air. It's traveling. Everyone's like looking at it like, what's Sash going to do? Like, this ball is super hard to control. He just steps back, takes it off his laces, boom, pops it up again, and then catches it in his arms. And everyone's looking around like, did he just do that? And then out of nowhere, he does it again. He wants it again. And he, boom, same thing. Lauren launches this ball, might be even higher in the air this time. And he pops it up again, perfectly out of the air with his laces, catches it on his neck, and then flicks it back up. And we all start running around. Everyone's screaming. We just ended practice after that. I don't think we were supposed to be done, but we just ended practice. It was the most insane thing I've ever seen. It was awesome.
Old guy still got it.
Yeah.
Either that or a hip injury. Nobody knows, but
Yeah.
Tell us, for non-soccer guys, like how much do you guys have to run, and what's the conditioning like for you guys? Because I've heard that soccer conditionings can be kind of crazy.
I think it's like a normal player will run like between 6 miles, somewhere around 6.5 miles during a game, depending on how long they play. I'd say you don't really realize how much running it is during the game unless you're just chasing the whole time, which hopefully we're not doing. But usually the fitness is like, we'll do different variations of fitness, like speed work if we're trying to build up like that quick twitch acceleration, or we'll do some longer tempo stuff where it's like, we'll do 100 yards, we'll do like 5,000 yards or 4,000 yards, and that will be split up between 100s, 200s, 300s, and like whatnot. And that will be like however long it takes to just finish those, we'll do.
Yeah, I think what's pretty unique about soccer, which makes it fairly challenging, is that you have kind of like a lot of running where you just run like at a normal pace, you're not like super fast, but then you also have a lot of high intensity runs. Like a lot of other sports, you either have one or the other, but soccer kind of combines them both. Like in other sports, either you just run for however long your game is and you just run at a consistent pace, or you don't really have to run, but you always have to hit sprints. And in soccer, you kind of have to do both. So it just like accumulates, and like you got to prepare for it because you got to have a pretty good base condition to just be able to run around the whole time, but you also want to be as fast as possible. And like every single time those sprints hit where you gotta run for a ball or be in a duel with someone, you just gotta be ready to sprint for it. So that's fairly challenging, but also the nice part about soccer, I want to say.
Colin, I wanted to ask you, since Alex is here, I think this could be funny. What is your favorite story of Alex as a captain? Could be funny, could be, a good story. Like, what's your favorite moment that you can remember so far of Alex as a captain?
I would think very well about this, Colin.
I have a good answer. So we have this tradition in like the locker room that whoever we're playing, we will do MFU on the little whiteboard we have, and then that team that we're playing So this season, Nitzl wanted to get it kicked off, I think, for us. Well, not kicked off. It was a few games in the season. So he takes the initiative, and this is a UVA, really big game. He does the MFU UVA in black. And so the next game we tie the game, obviously not, a little disappointing. Then we go to change it for the next game, and we realize we can't wipe it off because Nitzl wrote it in Sharpie, and now it is still there to this day in our locker room, MFU UVA, and no one can get it off. And it's really funny.
I need to add on to that, though. To be fair, as Colin said, it was a couple of games into the season. And before anything started, I went to Colin and I said, Colin, this is your responsibility. Please take care of this. So to speak of UVA, I walked in the locker room, see the board, and it was still like the previous game on there. So I was like, that's not right. I gotta change something. So that's why I had to do it. Colin should have done it. I tried to make up for him, and I might have made a tiny little mistake there. I don't think anyone. I shouldn't have told this to Colin because I just turned the board around. So nobody saw it until I showed Colin. So I don't know. Might be up to Colin, honestly.
What are some other like fun team traditions like that you guys have?
So we do like we have a little competition, like an art competition, I guess, between like the freshmen. We'll give them something to paint, and then we just like we want them to take their time with it and really show their artistic ability. But they're all horrible artists, so it's just fun for us to look at, and we get to judge. And then we'll have all the freshmen leave, and all the upperclassmen and our trainer will vote on who we think has the worst piece of art. And then for the person with the worst piece of art, we get to pick their outfit for the first day of classes, and usually it's pretty fun to see what the worst thing we can come up with for them to wear in public.
What did you guys come up with this year?
What do we do, Nitzl? Do you remember?
This year it's still in the making because first day of class we had a game, so we couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And we don't want to mess around with the freshmen. But yeah, it's coming. We're waiting. I know exactly when we're gonna do it, and the outfit is pretty much done. First of all, I think it's hilarious that you call it an art contest, but but yeah, no, like we actually like last year we did it with clothes we had from, I don't know, Jamie Lowell. He gave some stuff away that was questionable to wear outside of your home. But this year we actually went a little bit beyond, and like I think someone purchased something, and we also asked a couple of other people from other sports to give us something to make sure the outfit is spot on. But yeah, I can't wait to see how it turns out because we're waiting for a day where it's the busiest for that person, but where we all can come visit him, because that's always the best part. That person has to do a full-on vlog like in our Snapchat group chat like throughout this whole day, like how it's going, and like a bunch of guys just come and visit him at his classes or when he walks around campus and like go there and trip him, and it's a good time for everyone else besides that person.
Nothing like a good little tradition to get the freshmen acclimated. It's obvious. I know the crew is a big part of the Maryland soccer, and they're pretty loud. Do you guys have a favorite chant that they do?
I love the banana song. I don't know what they are saying. I have no idea because like I usually am on the field and I can't concentrate on the chant. But whenever they start singing the banana song, I'm just happy. I just love it. I'm all for it. It's so funny. But I also love when they're just going at the goalie every single time he has a goal kick. That's just that it's very funny what they're doing, honestly.
Personally, I love when they just go at the goalie and say whatever to the goalie. Like I think that's the funniest things ever. Whenever they just say the most outlandish things to him about whatever personal stuff they have, and I think it's hilarious.
Well, that's all we have for you guys. Thank you very much for coming on our first ever interview with two athletes at the same time. So we're glad we could make it happen. So thank you very much.
Thank you guys. Yeah, it was great doing it.